What's up, Raider Nation? Even on honeymoon mode, I couldn't stay away. That's right. While most people would be sipping drinks on a beach somewhere, I'm here thinking about the silver and black and the sneaky good players who might just be the secret sauce to a surprise season in 2 mil e 25. You see, every offseason, I dig into the roster and try to identify the guys that no one's really talking about. The ones flying under the radar, but that could end up being crucial difference makers. That's what we call a sleeper, someone the mainstream's ignoring, but who's got all the tools to break out when it counts. Now, let me make one thing clear. This isn't about fantasy football hype or deep bench stashes. I'm not talking about practice squad hopefuls or training camp miracles. I'm talking about 5 dudes who are going to suit up, hit the field, and make some noise this season. Each one of these guys is locked and loaded to contribute in a real way. And the NFL better be ready, even if they aren't looking just yet. Let's kick it off with a name that might catch some of you off guard. Raheem Mostert. Yeah, I know. He's not new. He's not a rookie, and no, he's not the projected starter in this backfield. That honor's going to Ashton Jeanty, who I personally believe has top 5 potential among all NFL running backs. But here's the deal. Mostert isn't here to ride the bench. He's going to have a role, and it's going to be one that makes him extremely dangerous in specific situations. Think of him as the lightning to Jeanty's thunder, or maybe considering how explosive Jeanty already is, Mostert is that extra jolt of electricity when the defense thinks they've seen it all. Mostert has averaged 5 yards per carry over his career. That's not a fluke. That's who he is. He's still got burner speed, legit 4.3 range, and he's been in Chip Kelly's system long enough to understand exactly how to find the edge and turn a routine play into 6 points. I don't expect him to carry the ball 200 times, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets somewhere between 80 and 100 touches. And let me tell you, with that speed and that vision, every one of those touches could flip the momentum of a game. He's a big play waiting to happen. Now let's pivot over to the trenches. Because if you know Pete Carroll, you know he wants to win in the trenches. And Lucky Fotu might just be one of the most important pieces in that plan. Last season, the production wasn't flashy. No big sack numbers or highlight reel plays. But go watch the tape and look at the role he played. At 6'5", 335 libras, this man is a wall. With Christian Wilkins dealing with injuries and uncertainty hanging over that spot, Fotu has stepped up and shown that he can hold his ground in the middle. And look, I get it. The Raiders have some promising young defensive tackles. J.J. Pags, Tonka Hemingway, Zach Carter, Jonah Lalu, all guys with talent, all guys you can rotate in. But there's something to be said for a dude who can eat up double teams, clog lanes, and free up everyone else around him. That's exactly what Fotu does. He's not going to lead the team in tackles, but he's going to make everyone around him better. Think of him as this year's John Jenkins, the kind of unsung hero who doesn't make headlines but makes a massive impact on Sundays. Alright, next up is someone who's flown under the radar because of all the hype around some of the other names in the wide receiver room. Jack Beck, drafted in the 2nd round, and yet somehow he's been one of the least talked about additions. Why? Well, when you've got guys like Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton Jr. making highlight reel catches and dominating social media clips, it's easy to forget about the guy who's not out there making one-handed grabs. But don't let that fool you. Hey, Jack Beck is going to be a contributor in this offense, and I'll tell you why. Blocking. That's right, blocking. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not something you clip for a highlight reel, but coaches love it. And in this Chip Kelly system that thrives on tempo, versatility, and unpredictability, having a wide receiver who can block like a tight end opens up all kinds of possibilities. Beck is a physical presence. He's a mismatch against smaller corners, and he's going to get on the field simply because of what he allows this offense to do. Whether it's motion packages, bubble screens, or quick outside zone runs, having Beck on the field gives the Raiders a different kind of look, and that's going to earn him snaps. Maybe he doesn't become the number 1 option, but a guarantee. He's going to matter. Now, before I jump into the top 2 names on my sleeper list, let me say this. I see you out there already doubting. I see the comments. These guys are backups. These are depth pieces. Maybe. But how many games in this league are decided by one drive, one block, one burst up the sideline? That's why I do this list. Not because these are your fantasy MVPs, but because these are the guys who show up when it matters most. And speaking of guys who show up, let's talk about Elandon Roberts. You want leadership? You want toughness? You want a guy who's going to hit like a freight train and not apologize for it? That's Roberts. Last year with Pittsburgh, his numbers weren't jaw-dropping. 46 tackles, a few splash plays. But dig into the 2 years before that, and you'll see a player who had over 100 tackles in back-to-back seasons. That's no accident. He's a consistent presence in the middle of the defense and someone who makes a real difference with his communication, alignment, and physicality. What really gets me excited about Roberts is what I've heard from Steelers fans. When they found out he wasn't coming back, they were upset. And that reminded me a lot of how Raider fans felt when we lost Robert Spillane. There's something about losing a true tone setter that hits a little different, and I think that's what Roberts is. He's 30 years old. He's been given the green dot, and he's got Pete Carroll's full confidence to run the defense. That's not nothing. That's a sign of trust. And in a locker room that's still building its identity under this new regime, guys like Roberts are absolutely essential. He might not put up gaudy stats. Hell, we might not talk about him every week. But just like Denzel Perryman, just like Tahir Whitehead, he's going to bring the juice. That hit stick mentality. That thump in the middle that offenses feel in their bones the next morning. All right, y'all ready for my biggest sleeper? The guy I'm planting my flag on for the Raiders in $2 million, Evante Cinco? DJ Glaze. I'm going to be real with you. If this kid were on another team, he might already be getting a lot more buzz. But because the offensive line is rarely sexy, and because last year's offensive performance was so uneven, Glaze has kind of faded into the background. But that's a mistake. This guy has all the tools. He was solid as a rookie, not perfect. But considering the context, considering the revolving door at quarterback, and the inconsistency from the coaching staff, a 60 EC's point on PFF grade is pretty impressive. But it's not just about stats. It's about belief. And the Raiders have shown time and time again this offseason that they believe in Glaze. They didn't draft his replacement. They didn't go out in free agency and bring in a veteran. Tackle. They rode with him. That speaks volumes. Then they doubled down by going out and signing Alex Kappa to play next to him. That's not a coincidence. That's a deliberate move to solidify the right side of the line and to give Glaze the kind of veteran help that allows him to thrive. You want more proof? Look at where they spent their draft capital. Not at tackle, but at running back. Ashton Jeanty in the top 10. That tells me that they trust this offensive line to open up holes. They believe in JPJ, they'll believe in Colton Miller, and yes, they believe in DJ Glaze. So don't be shocked if Glaze turns into a cornerstone of this offense, someone we talk about with the same respect we give guys like Miller. I genuinely think he might be the third best offensive lineman on this team already. And if he takes that next step, man, sky's the limit. Now look, I know it's early. I know we haven't even hit training camp yet, but I've been around long enough to spot the signs. These 5 guys, Mostert, Fotu, Beck, Roberts, and Glaze, they're not going to win you fantasy championships, but they might win the Raiders some real football games. And when that happens, don't say I didn't tell you. And since we're talking sleepers, let's be honest, sometimes the very definition of a sleeper is someone who gets ignored, not because of their lack of talent, but because the conversation is just too loud elsewhere. The NFL world gets distracted. We get enamored with rookies, big-name free agents, contract extensions, training camp drama, and fantasy football projections. In the middle of all that noise, the real difference makers, the gritty, reliable, coach-trusted guys, tend to slip through the cracks. That's exactly why I love doing these videos, because someone's got to shine a light on the glue guys. Someone has to say, hey, maybe this guy isn't flashy, but he's going to help win you football games. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill is churning once again, and this time the buzz is centered around a surprising name, Jalen Milroe. Multiple whispers across league circles suggest that the former Alabama quarterback may have signed a 3-year deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. While no official confirmation has come from the team or Milroe's camp, sources close to the situation claim the agreement is either already inked or in its final stages. If true, this move could be one of the more intriguing off-season developments. Milroe, known for his electric playmaking ability and dual threat versatility, had a standout season with the Crimson Tide, showcasing raw athleticism, big play potential, and steady growth as a passer. While not initially projected as a high draft pick, Milroe's upside caught the attention of scouts, and it seems the Raiders may be ready to take a gamble on his potential. This potential deal raises several questions about the Raiders' quarterback strategy moving forward. With veteran options already on the roster and ongoing speculation about a full rebuild, Milroe could be seen as either a developmental project or a surprise candidate to shake up the depth chart. His skill set fits well with a modern NFL offense, particularly one that leans into mobility and improvisation, traits that have become increasingly valuable in today's game. It's worth noting that Raiders GM Tom Telesco and new head coach Antonio Pierce have hinted at a desire to redefine the team's identity. Could Milroe be part of that new vision, or is this simply another name tossed into the mix during a chaotic offseason? Only time will tell. But for now, Raider Nation is left wondering if the future just got a little faster, a little flashier, and a whole lot more unpredictable. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.